things been happening to me this week?
Don't crazy things happen to you every week?
I went to the doctor, just normal stuff, and she said I had this thing called bradycardia. I don't know what that is, but I have to take this medication now.
I don't know what bradycardia is either, but whatever they did to you seems to have made things worse.
Wait, Joey has bradycardia?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I do, whatever that is.
It means you have an unusually slow heart rate. What do they give you for it?
Isoproterenol?
Oh, a beta-2 adrenergic receptor agonist. Clearly. So, aside from being a complete spaz, what's been happening to you since you started taking it?
Well, taking it's been a whole setup. There's this whole thing I have to do. It's a big setup.
Huh? I'd like to see this. Why don't you explain it to us?
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke, your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you 'cause I'm there for you
First, I suspend myself from an isometric transducer. The transducer measures my change in weight over time. It's measured in millivolts. The transducer measures the change in my weight over time, but its output is in millivolts. So I had to calibrate the transducer first using 10-gram weights. Once I found what the transducer output was for these known weights, I plotted these points on a graph, with transducer output as the x-axis and weight as the y-axis, and took a linear regression of the data. It gave me this equation. This allowed me to take the transducer outputs from this experiment and convert them to weight measurements so I could know what was happening to my weight as I took this drug. Once I'm suspended from the isometric transducer, I positioned a funnel containing Ringer's solution with dextrin 24 centimeters above where my heart is. The Ringer's and dextrin served as a control off of which I could compare the isoproterenol to. After I started perfusing myself with each solution, the perfusate went through my circulatory system and ran off my toes. I could determine how much fluid was flowing through my circulatory system by measuring the drip rate of perfusate.
Okay, let me get this straight. You measured your weight over time and drip rate for a controlled trial of Ringer's with dextrin, and then for an experimental trial with isoproterenol?
I did that. I looked at how my weight was changing with time by determining the slope, change in weight over change in time, after converting the transducer output to weight using the calibration equation I was talking about. And then I compared that for the control and isoproterenol trials. And I counted the number of drops off my toes in 1 minute and compared that too.
Wow, Joey, I'm impressed.
As you should be.
That's great. Hey Monica, can I have some of your salad? Always talk about weight is making me feel like I need to put some in.
Oh yeah, sure.
Alright, well Joey, aren't you gonna tell us about what happened when you took it? Don't leave us hanging.
By comparing the rate of change in my weight between the control and the isoproterenol trials, I found that taking the drug caused my weight to increase just a bit from 0.0055 to 0.0056 grams per second from the control to the treatment with isoproterenol. And my drip rate also increased from 25 to 28 drops per minute.
Your rate of weight change to increase.
I think the observed changes are due to isoproterenol acting as a vasodilator, as it is a beta-2 adrenergic receptor agonist for both the liver and skeletal muscle.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that as isoproterenol binds, a stimulatory G protein pathway is induced, causing increased potassium channel activity that hyperpolarizes and relaxes smooth muscle, decreasing resistance throughout my vascular system, which increases flow.
I think I remember that.
I figured that flow increased throughout my insides because of the increase in drip rate we saw. Increased fluid moving through me led to an increased hydrostatic pressure, pushing fluid into the interstitial tissue, which increases the rate of change in weight.
Yeah. Okay. I feel weird, Monica. What's in your salad?
Lettuce, onions, tomatoes, peppers, typical salad stuff, and kiwis, yeah.
Kiwis? Monica, I'm allergic to kiwis! Do we not go over this? Oh my god. I'm gonna die. This is it. This is the end of Ross.
Shoot, someone call the doctor!
Wait, didn't you get an epinephrine prescription after the kiwi pie incident?
Yes, but it's just this bottle. I don't have the EpiPen form, so we can't use it.
Yes, we can! To the transducer!
Careful! Careful! Careful. Alright. Okay. Oh. Well, that just happened. Oh.
How are you feeling?
Well, the epinephrine certainly did its job, but it did some other stuff.
Oh my god, good thing we decided to collect data while you were hooked to the transducer.
You did what?
What can I say? We love learning about physiology.
Well, let's see what you found.
With epinephrine, the weight was lost, with the rate of change going from 0.0008 grams per second in the control of Ringer's and dextrin to negative 0.0063 grams per second with epinephrine. Quite a bit of change from the control.
You did a control?
The drip rate also decreased from 31 drops per minute in the control to 29 drops with epinephrine. Wonder why that happened.
See, epinephrine can bind to both, and while alpha-1 receptors cause your blood vessels to constrict through an excitatory GQ protein pathway, beta-2 receptors cause them to dilate through an inhibitory GS protein pathway. Since your drip rate decreased, epinephrine must have caused vasoconstriction, which increases the resistance and decreases flow through the blood vessels. This would also explain why the flux decreased, meaning water went from your interstitial tissues and back into the capillaries. With overall constriction of blood vessels, there would be less water inside the blood vessels and therefore less capillary pressure pushing water into the interstitial tissues. Ross, you sure know how to stress me out. I bet my blood pressure is through the roof because of you.
You're always stressed out. Don't try to put this on me.
Well, now I'm stressed out about the possibility of my blood pressure being too high. I'm gonna go to the pharmacy and use one of those handy little blood pressure reading thingies.
Uh-oh, what's in the bag?
Prazosin.
Prezo what?
It's to reduce my blood pressure, which was through the roof.
Don't look at me.
Well, that's okay. What matters is that you're treating it. How do you take it? Want me to make you something to eat?
Well, here's the worst part of this whole situation. I have to perfuse this through my entire circulatory system. How inconvenient is that?
Wait, does this mean that we can use my setup?
To the transducer we go.
Well, needless to say, it's been quite a day.
Ross, why did you do that?
What? It was an accident. These two bottles are basically identical. They ought to make it clear on the bottle what drug this is. I meant to put prazosin when I put in the epinephrine. So I just added more prazosin and I hope for the best.
Oh, sure. You did a control of Ringer's and dextrin, then the prazosin, and then you added another control of Ringer's and dextrin before accidentally adding the epinephrine. Okay, Ross.
Okay, fine. Maybe I had some extra epinephrine and wanted to see what would happen when it was mixed with prazosin. Hit 'em, y'all. You want, but we got some cool results.
Well, what did happen? I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy being hooked up to the transducer.
Well, with just the prazosin, your rate of change of weight increased from 0.0034 grams per second, and for the control to 0.0048 grams per second with prazosin. And your drip rate increased from 31 to 32 drips per minute.
Huh. I guess that's probably because it's an alpha-1 receptor antagonist, which means that it will block any drug activation when it's bound.
Prazosin actually results in vasodilation when relaxing her arterial smooth muscle.
Yeah, this causes your weight to increase because with the higher capillary pressure due to a large fluid flow, water will be forced out into your interstitials.
Yeah.
Your drip rate actually also increases slightly because of the vasodilation in your arterioles. This is because of, Ohm's law, which says that a larger radius will significantly decrease resistance, and therefore your fluid drip rate will increase.
And then with prazosin and epinephrine, your rate of change in weight increased from 0.0016 grams per second in the control to 0.0047 grams per second with prazosin. And so your drip rate increased from 31 to 34 drips per minute.
Huh, I wonder why that happened.
Oh, well, that's because we know epinephrine can bind to both alpha-1 and beta-2 receptors on smooth muscles. But since prazosin is an alpha-1 receptor antagonist, epinephrine will only be able to bind to your beta-2 receptors.
And well, you know what that means. Vasodilation will occur through your smooth muscle relaxation due to activation of your GS transduction pathway.
Yeah, and a large amount of fluid flow into your capillaries will move the fluid into your interstitials, resulting in an increase in your weight. Your drip rate increased because of vasodilation in your arterioles, similar to what happened to Rachel with prazosin.
And like we already know, guys, a larger radius will decrease resistance and result in a higher drip rate.
Huh. We sure seem to learn a lot today about the balance of fluids in our circulatory system and interstitial fluids. Right, guys?
Yeah, probably more than I needed to know. Well, that was one heck of a day. Well, let's just finish this. Cheers, guys.